that was, I'm like, who is that person?
I was so fascinated about Rabbit Hole this year, and I was just so happy you got nominated for that work. It seemed to me, what I find so interesting is that you seem to be in such a happy place in your personal life, and then you grab this horrifying, harrowing, gut-wrenching story. What was it about Rabbit Hole that you needed to, at this time in your life, attack and jump into?
I suppose that's the complication of just me as a person. Because I believe that life is contrasts, and to appreciate having something, you have to have existed in places of not having something. So even when I'm in a place of great happiness and gratitude, I suppose I'm always reaching or searching to understand the flip side of that. And I've lived that, I've certainly had that in my life. And I suppose I just never want to take anything for granted. So when Rabbit Hole comes along, I respond to it because I go, this is what people are going through. I may not be going through this exactly, but I've certainly been through my own share of loss and grief, not to this magnitude. But I want to explore it, I want to understand it, and I want to reach out. It puts me in a place of feeling very connected in the world, if that makes sense. And so, to play that woman, for some reason those emotions were right there from the minute I started doing it. And a lot of the performance is about restraint, because it's 8 months, from losing the child. And so, Aaron and I, when we first went into the material, there was so much emotion that John Cameron Mitchell would be like, we need to pull that back because we don't need all of that now. So a lot of it was trying to modulate that. But I could feel her, I could understand her, and I could step into Becca's skin almost immediately and far easier than I have on any other character. And I have no understanding of why, other than what I'm telling you now.
But there were so many daring things that you did with this material. The fact that you grabbed onto it, you produced it, you nurtured it, you latched onto the original writer, which is rare, to go allow David Lindsay Bear to write the screenplay. And then also the choice of John Cameron Mitchell, which at first sight you would not think, Hedwig and the Angry Inch, he's the right man for Rabbit Hole.
But I love that. I love that he can be so diverse as a director. My producing partner's here tonight, Per Sari, and he and I both talked about David Lindsay adapting and how we wanted to give him the chance to do it. I mean, it is so hard to get a first draft that's decent. Anyone here who develops films would know that. So when David Lindsay gave us the first draft of Rabbit Hole, and it was extraordinary. It was so close to what we shot. We were stunned. But obviously, because he'd written the play, these characters and these people were inside him. They lived with him. But for him to be able to open it up and lose certain characters or add certain characters, that's just, that's his talent. We got lucky. And then John Cameron Mitchell, I'm drawn to bold directors, and I wanted to work with somebody who I think has enormous heart, which he does, and seemed to have a connection to the material because of what he'd been through in his life, and to me it seemed like a perfect fit. Which other people probably thought was not. But I suppose that's been my whole career. What I think is normal is not necessarily normal.
Do you see yourself now that you have, now empowered, that you're going to develop materials that are suited to the things that you want to do?
I mean, developing is hard because there's an enormous amount of rejection, and there's also, you need to have a strong, I mean, it takes years, and so there needs to be an enormous amount of patience and a belief in the material. We have a couple of scripts that we're absolutely devoted to and that we want to get made. So our commitment to them is through the long haul, but it's very, very hard because obviously our material is unusual. But it doesn't mean that we'll abandon them. And I'm not necessarily developing stuff for myself. I'm just developing stories that I feel no one else will. No, but I mean that I feel that are really hard to get made. And one of them is a film called The Danish Girl right now, which we're very close to getting made actually. So fingers crossed. And it's a film about the first transsexual, and it's a beautiful script. It's a love story actually. So I hope that it all comes together and I get to come back to the festival.
Well, if you don't mind, we're gonna. Yes.
In terms of the school of acting that I come from, you honor the director. So you honor the material and the writing, and you honor ultimately the director's vision. And I can argue and fight with the director in terms of for my character and for the scene, but ultimately he's the leader of the ship, so I have to go, okay, I'm here to help put your vision on screen. I mean, if you're doing a piece of theatre, it's different because you're honouring the playwright out there, but you're also able to, you have to make something work. You don't get edited. So a lot of the times with those characters, whether you like them or not like them, to me that's nothing. It's did the vision of the film succeed? Did the director get what he wanted?
And you've always gone back to the theater, which is where you started, right? So you were young, you were...
I went to a place called the Australian Theatre for Young People. I wanted to be an actor since I was like this big, which is kind of embarrassing. I wish I'd wanted to be like a scientist or something, but no, I wanted to be an actor.
Well, you get to play scientist.
Yeah, so that's why I do all that stuff on screen, to please my dad. But so my whole life I was like, I started reading really early, and I would read plays, I'd read Chekhov, but then I would read the Russians like Dostoevsky, I would read novels, because that's how I feel you become an actor actually. If you read great literature young, you enter into the psychology of so many different characters, and your imagination is built that way. And because I had fair skin, I would sit at home. My mum wouldn't let me go out, and in Australia everyone goes to the beach. So I would have to stay indoors because I would get terribly burned if I was on the beach for too long. So that's when I would read. My mum would buy me books and I would read. And I would I would be Natasha in War and Peace suddenly. And that would be my life. And then I was devastated when the book ended. So that somehow translated to me becoming an actor, and that's what I still do. I take on these characters and live these lives, and then I put them aside.
What is it about theater that draws you in? I mean, now you're a big international star, and you're going to Broadway soon. Tennessee Williams, Sweet Bird of Youth, with James Franco, by the way. Why that high wire act of going with a live audience 8 days a week?
Because it's what I do. Because if I don't exist in a place of pushing myself, and it's discomfort, it's uncomfortable, and then I stretch and work, and my muscles get used to doing it again, and it feels good, And I mean, a live audience is the best thing you can have as an actor, because you have adrenaline pumping through you the whole time, and the discipline of having to make something work for 3 hours is an extraordinary discipline that actors need. Because when you're doing a film, it's a different discipline, but you can get lazy. And so the discipline of theatre is it's such an important thing, I think. And no matter what you achieve, no matter who you are, that's what I feel is that we have to sort of, and also because as a woman, there's extraordinary roles in the theatre.
International Film Festival, I would like to thank you for holding our hand for all of these years and taking us with you, because it has been an utterly fascinating ride. And it is a true honor for me to present you this year's Cinema Vanguard Award.
I just want to say thank you. I had no idea what to expect tonight, and I've been extremely moved. So thank you, Roger, Dave, for everything you said and the support. And I will take all of this encouragement, and I hope I will live to be a very old lady, and I will live to get to come back here and do something like this again, because it's it really makes me want to pursue excellence. And so thank you, and thank you for showing up and filling this theatre and laughing and making me feel at home.